Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for coming and watching. Watching the what? Oh, the shirt. Hey, it's Monday, July 5th. Independence weekend, man. Independence Day. Be thankful for you live in a country where you have rights. Today, I'm going to finally do the review of the Orvis Encounter Fly Rod. This is it. This is the little beauty right here. And yes, it does come with 3 more pieces to make it 9 foot. This is a 9 foot 8 weight. This is Orvis's budget rod. This is the cheapest rod that Orvis makes. This is a combo. It comes with the rod, it comes with the reel, and this is a plastic, it's Encounter reel. It all comes together in a package with the line. And you can see the backing, and it's orange. And it came with a leader. It also comes with a rod tube. It's a fairly stiff. It's not a bad quality rod tube at all. Now, it also came. The reel has a little pouch, little bitty pouch. It came in. I threw that away. Because, a matter of fact, I'll probably end up throwing this away because I always get rod tubes that allow the reel to stay affixed to the rod. Now, you may ask me, Derek, I do have other Orvis 8 weights. I have a TFO 8 weight. 3 Orvises and a TFO. Derek, well, why do you have, I got some nicer rods. They're budget rod. And I have a lot nicer reels too. Y'all may have not seen the video from Florida where I was going to Florida. I live in South Carolina. I was driving down to Florida, down to South Florida, do some snook, tarpon, largemouth bass. I got down from Greenville, South Carolina. I got past Atlanta, and you gotta understand something. That's a major hurdle on that trip, is getting past Atlanta. Anyway, I was 4.5 hours into the trip, 4.5 hours into the trip, and I realized I had left my fly rods at home. Yes. So, what do? Well, I was taking Highway 75, and I was going to be going right by, or very close to, Fort Myers, where there was a Bass Pro Shop. So I said, okay. So anyway, I drove down, went to the Bass Pro Shop. This right here, rod, reel, line, backing, leader. By the way, the leader sucked. I mean, the leader, just throw it away. Get a Rio bass taper leader. Those are great. Anyway, they had this for $175. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I didn't really care how good the action was. It just needed to last 8 days of fishing. That's all I had to do. Just last 8 days of fishing. Now, you got to understand something. Wintertime, this was in February. In wintertime in Florida, South Florida, it's windy all the time. You're constantly fighting the wind. I was going to be doing a lot of different types of fishing, a lot of close-in stuff, and sometimes I'll be wanting to get some distance, 50, 60 feet. And I'm not a great guys, I'm an average caster. I'm maybe a hair above average because I have fly fished a lot, but I'm not a pro. So that's how I ended up on this trip. I'm going to be in some heavy wind. There was, matter of fact, there was at one point, and you can look at one of the videos from there where I go after the peacock bass. Wind was actually probably 25, 30 miles an hour. I could cast maybe 25 feet. Maybe 30, and I'm talking, it's just, anyway, so there was those conditions. There's a wide range of, well, like with all fishing trips, you're in multiple areas. I can have different types, different scenarios, different demands on your casting. And I was like, I don't care. And one thing I would like to say, rod actions. This is just my view. One time, Lefty Cray was at a fishing club meeting, and he did a casting demonstration using his arm. Lays out 60 feet of fly line, no rod, just his arm. Kid you not. True story. And so see, to me, the rod is not very important. What is important to me, ease of use. Can I make, and I may show some clips. These clips is me throwing this rod. Sometimes, like on a smallmouth river, the anchor slips and you start going down the current too close to a perfect spot. Next thing you know, you're right on top of it, and you really need to make a 15-foot cast right here, right now, accurately. Okay? And then you're going to turn around and you need to make a cast that is 60 feet on the other side of a run or whatever, for some slack waters on the other side of a run. Demands can vary wildly. You know, you may have wind behind you. You may have wind facing you. In Florida, all that. So, but I wasn't worried about being able to do it. I wanted to be able to do it comfortably without having to stress. This thing did the trick. I could comfortably, I mean, literally, just with the line in my hand, won't get out, you know, make that short 15-foot accurate cast. I could, couple of back casts, again, I'm an average caster, couple of back casts, boom, I'm out there 50 feet. Wind. I did some stuff in the wind where it was almost, I mean, it worked. It was easy. I fished all day. And you understand something? I fished 8 days down there, or 7. Honestly, I think it was 7 full days. 7 full days of fishing. And then there's like a half a day on one of the trips coming back or going down or both. Anyway, let's just call it 8 days of fishing. I hand it get tired. Now, that being said, I understand, get the timing, let the rod do the work. Get the rod loaded, let the rod do the work. Learn how to do that if you don't. Otherwise, you will totally stress out your hand. Another thing is, if I'd have been down there with a 5-weight, throwing big hair bugs, but let's say I took a 5-weight, and let's say I needed to throw something like that right there. Big wind-resistant hair bug. On a 5-weight, in the wind, I'm going to be having to strain and push. The 5-weight is actually, in my experience, something like a 5-weight for these conditions, it will stress out my hand a whole lot faster. An 8-weight, once you learn to let the rod do the work, that 8-weight just throws this all over the place. Not a problem. So anyway, the rod, the action worked perfect. I have no qualms. I mean, yes, I actually for some certain circumstances, I'd like a little bit softer rod for making those really, really short casts in 2 seconds. And then when I need to reach out 60, I would like a faster rod. This is a medium fast action rod. So it's kind of like a jack of all trades. And it worked fine. I love the action. They have something that's called swing weight. Does it feel heavy? It'll wear you out. If it's this has a very light swing weight. The whole deal is very light. Feels balanced. It's just I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. The line on this reel. Yeah, this is gonna be, this is a budget outfit. It's gonna be a cheap line. And to me, earlier I talked about how the rod isn't that important. I think people put way too much importance on the rod. I think the line is more important. This line, I'm thinking it's more of a bass bug taper rather than a normal weight forward, because it did so well up close and throw in the big hair stuff. It did fine. I think if you did put a dedicated bass bug taper on there, it might be better for the bass bug taper. I did not hit one point when I thought the rod or the line was inadequate. Not once in all that situations. Now, I didn't hook in with this rod. I didn't hook into 80-pound tarpon. I did with the guy's 12 weight I met at the campground, but that's a whole different story. The reel. This is a cheap plastic reel, but it has a highly adjustable drag. Let's see if I can get this thing. There we go. yeah, it'll break it. You can break a leader with this thing easy, and it's got a lot of adjustment range. So, and it's real handy. And its knobs right there, easy. The reel's easy to use. But for those of you who've seen my videos, you know I very rarely get a fish on the reel. I plan to fix that coming soon. I think I'm gonna go to the Keys, Florida Keys, and go after some bonefish and some of those oceanside tarpon. That it can be a good sized fish, and I should put this reel to the test. So right now I can't say anything. The reel works. The reel works fine. It being plastic, don't step on it. But don't step on any reel you own. This is not going to be able to take the abuse that, say, a bar stock aluminum machined reel could take. No, I mean, nowhere close. But you know what? For everyday use, and if you don't abuse it, this thing it's smooth. It's smooth as silk. You know, it's cheap. It's and you can buy extra spools. They're cheap. But see, here's the thing. Forget that reel. When I started fly fishing, there was a massive difference between cheap reels and high-end reels. The cheap reels were junk. Okay, I'm just telling you, or at least they're barely serviceable. There was a big difference in capabilities. Well, it's like this one has a disc drag. Back in the day, you couldn't buy a cheap fly reel that had a disc drag. That wasn't an option. This one has it seems to me, a very smooth disc drag. Real cheap reels are so much better. Reel technology has come so far. And I don't think it's going to be a problem. Again, I hadn't hooked a fish that took me into the back end yet on this. So, verdict on the reel is out, but I'm perfectly happy with what I've seen so far. So anyway, that is my review. An average guy, an average fly fisherman. I'm not a huge fly fisherman. I love that guy's channel, Huge Fly Fisherman. And I've been fly fishing ever since I was 11. I'm 54. So I do know some things, but I also know this. What works for you may be different than what works for me. So in closing, if you're a guy out there who's just starting, you don't even know if you're going to really get into it, and you don't want to sink $500 into an outfit. You're just starting out, you're not sure, or you just ain't got the money. You know you're going to love it. You know you love it. This would be a good starting point. You're going to get a quality action. You're going to get a quality action. You're going to get a quality line. You're going to get a reel that, man, it works for everything I hooked up with. Again, I did 8 days. I heartily recommend it. Heartily. I only had a problem, though. Did have a problem. But then some of you guys are out there chuckling right now because you remember that video where I did not leave out me getting very frustrated and very angry at this rod. I put this thing together. First time I used it. Fished for a while. Ferrules come loose. Jam them back down in there with a twist, just like you're supposed to. I've only been doing this 43 years. It's the same thing. An hour later, ferrules are coming loose. It's crazy. And then I just got in the habit of just checking them. As 8 days of doing this. 8 days of doing this, okay? So I was in this one place. I'll show a clip. Snook were biting. I hooked into this big Mayan cichlid. I think it's the biggest Mayan cichlid. Those things pull like crazy. They are slimy. But anyway, I was fighting him, and the top section came off while I was fighting the fish, and I thought it broke, and I got so ticked off. Man, it just sucks because I like it. This thing works, and it works well. I had a video out there on YouTube. It's called Short Evening Snook and Frustration, okay? So it showed that little thing where the rod came apart. A guy commented down, let's see, Fred Dew Fishing. That's the channel, Fred Dew Fishing. He said, get some ferro wax. Orvis makes a ferro wax. And put ferro wax on it and try that. Well, it's been over a month. It's been quite a while later, but I went smallmouth fishing a couple of weeks ago. This is an all day, in the canoe, all day, on the river, and some of the clips are from that. I purposely used this rod with the ferro wax to test it. I said, okay, I'm going to give it a day and see what happens. Guys, I fished all day. The ferrules did not come apart once. They stayed together. At the end of the trip, they, you know, they weren't loose. They were right. They were exactly the way they should have been. So guys, I'm gonna have to take that complaint, and thank you, Fred Dew Fishing. Appreciate it, man, for, hey, saying, hey dude, you might have 43 years of experience, but I'm no pro. I don't know everything. So thank you, Drew. I mean, thank you, Fred. It worked, and it worked fine. So I'm happy. I thoroughly endorse this rod. But Orvis isn't paying me to do this. Orvis, if you want to pay me, you can. That reel on a big fish or a very powerful fish, jury's out. Jury's out. And don't step on it. Don't step on it. Anyway, that's my review of the Orvis Encounter fly rod fly reel combo, including line and backing and a crappy leader. That's actually now after that test, that's the only complaint I got, is the leader. Anyway, guys, hey, thanks for coming. I hope somewhere someone out there is like, oh, I don't know if I should buy that rod reel combo or not. I wouldn't hesitate. And I was going to send it back with the ferrules. I was going to send it back. And I said, man, I'm just going to try that ferro wax. I was going to send it back and say, hey, I want my money back. This is junk. You know. And so, no, I'm perfectly happy with it. But anyway, thanks for coming. Again, I hope this helped somebody make a decision, very important decision. Happy 4th of July. Freedom!
But they'll never take our freedom!
Hope I see you out there on the water sometime.